So at Schneider Electric, we think long and hard about the ecological footprint. We have a belief that everyone on this planet has an inalienable right to access clean, reliable, resilient, sustainable energy, and the way that it's being delivered today is not sustainable, and so it has to be fixed. And there is only one planet. It's not as though we can go elsewhere, and so we as a business community and a society need to think long and hard about everything we're doing to make sure we're looking at the right resources for demand as well as supply and becoming as efficient as possible. And it's really baked into everything we do as a global company. Schneider Electric, first off, we're a $30 billion company, global, 152 countries we're involved in, 180 years old. And our customers in some ways reflect the entire global economy. We have great examples from the Shedd Aquarium in Chicago, Illinois, where our equipment and our solutions works with them to ensure that for their species, for their animals, as well as their visitors and staff, that they're providing efficient, effective conditions. And so we work with the Shedd Aquarium. At the other end of the spectrum, we do a lot of work with Hilton Worldwide and Blackstone. And so with Hilton, we're working with them to ensure that their hotels and their properties are as efficient as possible. So they're working with us to reduce the demand of energy usage, and they're also working with us to how they better access renewable energy. Same thing with Blackstone. Very interested in better managing and monitoring their costs, at the same time accessing clean, reliable, sustainable energy. The way we speak to our customers is actually answering the questions that they have for us. And they approach us with the belief that they themselves need to move towards more renewable, more sustainable energy. Our CEO has a saying that he says, "I'm not an optimist nor a pessimist, I'm an activist." And we're activists because we have customers around the world and in individual countries who themselves need assistance in moving down this path, and they come to Schneider Electric to help them walk those paths and make those decisions of how to become more resilient and more sustainable. So we have a belief at Schneider that energy is becoming, we call it the 3Ds. It's becoming more decarbonized, more decentralized, and more digitized. And when industries go through massive transitions, which we believe the energy industry is, it doesn't happen instantaneously. There's fits and starts. Industries evolve via these S-curves where it takes a long time and people keep wondering why it's taking so long. But once it starts shifting, it shifts faster than had been anticipated. And so we see this as a natural progression. We think the technology is absolutely there. It's probably more human behavior. We as humans don't like to change. We look in our rear view mirror to see what's happened in the past versus thinking differently about the future. And so we see it as changing that behavior, and then at the same time changing the necessary regulations that need to be altered to assist this new economy to move forward. I think what I'd like to see between now and the next couple of years is we are aware of all these changes and conversations because we're in them with our customers, but we need to amplify that voice. It's, when we speak as individuals, it's not that loud, but when you get the orchestra with all the voices together, pushing the same message, it's much more powerful. And so I think that's one of the critical things that companies like ours and the Global Footprint Network needs to do is how we make sure that the planet and the right constituencies are aware that this is a growing voice that's really pushing these changes to occur.